What's up guys, Jim Collector here, back with another video. Today we are looking at 4 poses that you can do with any Stormtrooper in your collection. So without further ado guys, let's get stuck right into the video. Alright, so here's our first pose that we've got here set up. So this is a Stormtrooper in a Halul Pose, which is kind of a nice pose that you can use for pretty much any Stormtrooper in your collection. It does help that on this guy, he does have a dumbbell bend in the elbow, and where the armor separates as well, it makes it a lot easier. Now you can pull this off with most Stormtroopers that I know of, possibly not if you've got a First Order Stormtrooper, which is one I used to have. Those things are a nightmare to pose. But with this guy here, it's quite easy to do. So you've obviously got his hand reaching for his blaster there, ready to draw it if necessary. Then he's got his other hand up in the Halul pose. The only main thing I'd say was a bit difficult and scary on this was getting this wrist up as high as it does. And it does expose that wrist joint just ever so slightly. But all in all, this is a really nice classic Stormtrooper pose. And I think it holds up really well. Alright, so here we're going to have what I'm going to call my artistic interpretation or my what if pose. Kind of a what if there was a Sith Stormtrooper. Basically all I've done is I've taken Reva's lightsaber and added it to our trooper friend here. Of course you can do this with any lightsaber. You can do this with a blue one if you want a Jedi trooper. Doesn't make sense. Neither does this. Or you can do it with Vader's saber, Dooku's saber, Maul's saber. That might look quite cool. But any saber you want. And I just wanted this because I've always been intrigued about the possibility of a force sensitive trooper. I do not know why. It probably comes from the sequel trilogy when I was hoping that Finn would become a Jedi, because I thought it would be really cool for him to go from being a trooper to a Jedi. I just thought that'd be a really sweet transition, but alas we didn't get that. But I do quite like this pose. Now the pose I've chosen here is kind of a battle weary trooper. He's kind of leaning forwards, ignited his saber, kind of like he's just kind of discovered his force powers mid-battle and has picked up a fallen Inquisitor saber and has thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a good shot. And it's kind of a nice dramatic pose is what I really like about this. By dramatic, it's just you can kind of tell in his posture kind of the toll and the strain that he's going through. At least that's in my mind. If it doesn't translate, my bad. But that's what I'm going through with this, and it's a nice looking pose as well. I did some photography of this pose or very similar, and I really like how those images kind of turned out. But it's a really nice looking pose, and I'm quite happy with it. And I do like making movie accurate poses, but I do also like working a bit of creativity and kind of looking at beyond the movies and what else you can pull off with a figure that does work but is a little bit out there. So yeah, I think this worked quite nicely. Alright, so here is our next pose, and with this one there we go. So here is our next pose, and with this one I really wanted to kind of capture a military aesthetic. Now I've been reading a lot of the Star Wars kind of the books, the extended universe books at the moment, and I'm reading through the Thrawn series, which is really, really good by Timothy Zahn. If you haven't read it, I definitely recommend it. And there's just a lot of interesting military sense that he brings to the series. So I really wanted to capture something that kind of really encapsulates how the Imperial Order, how the Empire, sorry, got there in the end, really kind of feels inside those books. So the Stormtroopers in the movies are goofy, not very well trained, can't shoot for shit. But in the books, they're a bit more serious. And now I kind of really wanted to capture that. So this is a slightly more serious pose. We've got the Stormtrooper in a salute. So this is the best kind of I can get out of it. It's not perfect. His thumb is a little bit too low, so it doesn't look like quite a crisp salute, which is a bit of annoying. But other than that, I think this is kind of pulled off quite well. So I do like how it's shaped up. The limitations here are obviously on the arm. You can't quite get the elbow back far enough to kind of really capture a proper salute, or at least what I think would be a proper salute. I do not have any military background at all, so I am just talking out of what I've seen in media. But yeah, obviously we've got his hand around the back here, which kind of works quite nicely as well. And it's kind of a nice, stoic, straight up neat pose that you can use for a Stormtrooper, so I do quite like this one. Alright, so here's our next pose, and this is a lot more of kind of an action pose, as you can see. This is kind of him charging forwards towards battle, or to an intruder, or to to whatever he's kind of charging towards. Now, the key to kind of getting this pose good for me is A, in the stance, and B, in the shoulders as well. To give these things life, you kind of need to imitate real life movements as much as you can. And now this is something I'm very, very much still learning. I haven't nailed this. There are some poses out there that are just, they can take really basic poses and put so much life into these figures. It's insane. But the keys here are the lean of the shoulders that kind of imitate the stance and the legs. Now, the way that I kind of get poses like this is I pose myself and kind of see how I naturally move, and I kind of go through it with this. But yeah, we've got his left leg forwards, back leg kind of bracing as well, and then his shoulders are kind of leaning into the movement that he's doing. That kind of gives us an idea that he has a forward momentum here, which really helps with the pose. So I do really like this pose. Again, it brings a lot of life to this figure, and it kind of makes him really stand out on the shelf and just look like a miniature real Stormtrooper. Alright guys, so that brings an end to our video today. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe down below. And of course, in the comments, do let me know which of these poses was your favourite. As always, this is Jim Collector, and I'll see you in another video.